Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax, and enjoy some malicious compliance. Want to be selfish? Enjoy your orange hair. I'm a hairstylist. Last Wednesday, between clients, I decided to run to the gas station to get an energy drink, and was hit by a car coming out of the parking lot. My own car was totaled, the cops came, both cars were towed from the scene. I texted my next client, apologizing and telling her that due to a serious accident, I would need to reschedule her appointment. She said she needed her hair done before the 4th of July. I was standing in the street, looking at my car in pieces, on the phone with insurance, fielding questions from the cops, and still texted the salon owner asking if anyone could take my client today. The owner said she'd figure it out, and would make sure my client could still be seen. I passed this info on to the client, who said she only wanted me to do it, and needed to get in ASAP. So, in the melee, I'm still worried about this client, who is a bad client by the way, and constantly complains about her hair, demands free redos, and only pays about 70% of the typical cost of her services because she managed to manipulate me into that price point when I was a newer stylist. I see in my schedule that I have absolutely no room to fit her in before the 4th. So I walk back to the salon after my car was towed away and just take her anyway. Once I get in, she doesn't ask if I'm okay, doesn't thank me for taking her anyway, but instead launches into a 3-hour-long brag about all the guys who are super into her and how she's dating a business mogul from Newport. The service goes as usual. I finish her hair 3 hours later, and am about to take her cape off and send her on her way when suddenly she has a problem with the colour. She says it's too ashy. It's the exact same formula and colour I've done on her for years, but today it's wrong for some reason. Trying to remain cheerful and professional, I tell her I'll put a new toner on her, no problem. At this point, my grandma is on her way with my daughter to pick me up. I text my grandma saying I'll be a little later. I tone the client again and blow dry her for a second time. The client insists that the colour is still too ashy. I explain that the second toner I used is the most golden toner that exists, and there's nothing less ash that I could put on her, except for an opaque, sort of gold pigment. She's clearly just being very sadistic. At this point, my grandma comes into the salon and asks if I'm ready to go. My client is looking at her hair and says, "You need to do something else. I can't leave like this." So my grandma goes back to wait in the car. I decide to use a very, very gold colour and tone it again for the 3rd time. She comes back to the chair and her hair is noticeably less ashy, because it's practically orange. "I hate this," says the client. "I'm going to dinner with the guy from Newport tonight. I liked it better the first time. You need to do something else. Just do it like you did the first time. I've done your hair 3 separate times at this point," I say, packing my stuff up. As you know, my grandma and daughter have been outside waiting for me. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can do, since now there's layers of toner on there and a 4th layer will only make it worse. I hope you have a great week. I took her payment, which she scoffed and forcefully handed to me, and I left. It was maybe not my most professional moment, but I'd been looking for an escape from that client for years, and it was worth it. Oh, I would just refuse her business from then on. If this person was paying 30% less than everyone else, and she's like that, oh yeah, you're not coming back. Don't leave customers in the middle of their orders whilst you black out. I worked at McDonald's for a little over 2 years, and the store location is near a stadium. So whenever there are events on, such as football, rugby, boxing, concerts, we get busy. Now, working in a fast food chain, it gets warm quickly. And when it's crowded and warm, and I get stressed, I have a tendency to end up blacking out. So this particular day, there is a football match on and the store is getting busy. There are a lot of customers and a lot of staff. We're serving customers and getting orders sorted fairly quickly. I'm in the middle of serving a customer when I can feel myself starting to black out. So I turned to the floor manager and told her what was happening and if I was okay to go and get a drink. She said yeah and took over serving the customer from me. As I'm having my drink, I'm stood behind the ice cream machine because we aren't allowed to drink in front of the customers. When the shift manager comes over and tells me not to leave a customer mid-order. So I go back to taking orders and serving customers when I can feel myself blacking out again. Don't leave customers when you're serving them, I think to myself. Okay, and I proceed to pass out. I'm now laid on the floor, causing more issues than if I had just gotten a drink again. There are about 4 managers, including the main boss, all trying to help me. I can hear a customer trying to tell them what to do too. When I come back around, I'm escorted through the kitchen with a manager and to the crew room, and I get to go home early, leaving them even more understaffed and struggling. I'm really confused. Why was there so many managers? Isn't there just like 1 or 2, like a regional manager, a department I'm not too familiar with the fast food place, so how many managers do you need? Short and sweet. Groan when I pull out a coin purse? So I'm in line at the pharmacy to pick up my prescriptions, about $15 worth. I carry a leather coin purse with me that usually has about $20 in coins because I chunk the change from cash purchases in it, so I'm able to give exact change or help out a cashier if it's hellishly busy and their drawer is short on coinage, but they can't leave the till to make change. I spent many years in retail. But I digress. I pull out my coin purse first, and the people in line behind me audibly groan, and one woman says in a very sarcastic tone, "Oh sure, just go ahead and pay with change. It's not like any of us have places to be." So I smile and act oblivious to her sarcasm and say, "Cheers, thanks," and proceed to pay the entire $15 in miscellaneous change. Had they not been so bad about it and held in their annoyance for about 3 seconds longer, I'd have pulled my wallet out, which was under the coin purse, and paid with the last of my cash and finished off with coins, as I had intended to do. I get paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month, so the last day of the month is usually rather tight, as it was today. That would have just been perfect if they'd have taken each coin one by one and placed it on the thing, just like slowly turning around and smiling at them going, "Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do." Keep everything where I put it. Or how Dory caused a grown woman to lose it. Background. I work as a child worker at my church. Overall, I absolutely love it. All the kids are awesome and super fun to play with. Unfortunately, my old supervisor had a family emergency in another state, so Amy came to take their role. After every use of the kids' room, we need to wipe down the toys and put everything away so everything is ready for the next use. Usually, this would just involve putting all the toys on the shelves, picking up all the crumbs from the snack time, and washing blankets. Amy decided this was not enough. She reorganized the entire room. The to-do list to finish up tripled. Now it was, make sure all of the toys are on shelf. Make sure the books are alphabetized. Yes, really. Unplug all electrical devices. Scrub the walls. Sweep the carpet. Vacuum the carpet. And about 12 other very specific but unimportant things. The most important rule, for this story anyway, was every single item must be put on the exact spot. All this made what was supposed to be a 15-ish minute endeavour into a 40-minute one. Needless to say, we did not particularly like her. I am 200% sure Amy had eagle-eyed memorized where all the 50 plus pieces in the room were to the centimeter. Even after my co-workers and I did everything correct, if the rocking chair was too close to the wall, she would yell at us to move it literally 2 inches further up. Kid move the toy kitchen while playing with it? Amy would act as if the kid threw it against the wall to us. After a month of us not telepathically knowing exactly where to put everything in Amy's perfect world, Amy pulled me and my 3 co-workers aside and pretty much moved every individual toy and furniture into her correct place for it. She gave us a list of how far apart everything was. The rocking chair is 5 inches away from the wall. The chairs are 8 inches apart from each other, etc. At the end of her charade, Amy said, "Keep everything exactly as you found it, as in where I put it," and left us to deal with the kids. However, as she left, she brushed up against the shelf with the stuffed animals on it, and a lone stuffed Dory from Finding Nemo fell off and rolled to the center of the room. She looked at it in the hallway and rolled her eyes. Make sure to listen to me for once. Malicious compliance begins. One of my co-workers went to pick it up, but I stopped him. Remember what she said, leave everything where she put it. My co-workers instantly get my idea. The kids come and go, and we spend an entire hour making sure everything is perfect. My co-worker finds a ruler and personally got on the floor to measure the exact distance as instructed. I wiped the same spot in the wall 4 times and organized the books so they were perfectly straight. In the middle of it all, Dory sat patiently. Amy comes to do her routine check. We stand behind her triumphant in our thoroughness. Fellow Redditors, I sincerely wish you were there to witness the anger of Amy that fine day. She screamed about how stupid and lazy we were, sneered at how foolish us ignorant Christians were, and that we could forget to pick up the stupid toy off the trucking floor. She cried to our Saviour about how we were so sinful as to not listen to our elders' instructions. After her rant, I looked her dead in the eyes. Miss Amy, you put Dory there. We put it exactly where we found it. Amy realizes what she had done. She told me quietly but stern to pick the darn thing up. I obey my elder. We were free to leave. I never saw Amy again. Luckily, this event consider with my old supervisor returning from their trip. Amy got in trouble with the head pastor for yelling at us and foul language. Last I heard, she moved to a different church. Peace returned to our children's church that day. Okay, I think a lot of people have got some small OCD in them, but that was hard OCD and she's using it in a supervisor job. Lazy day at factory. Today was a laid-back day at my factory job. The plant makes juice mixtures, and my line was down for 95% of the day. When your line is down, you clean up, but after half a day of cleaning, you start to run out of things to clean. Typically, management sends us home if it's bad, but we all have a safety meeting at the end of shift, so we're stuck here. To occupy my time, I start writing about the ergonomics of my position. Box stacker. I'm new, this is a summer job, and I'm an inquisitive person who broke his wrist 3 years ago. That is when, let's call her Jane, waddles over to me. Jane is the lead on the next line down that is running product. "What are you doing?" she asks. I could not even think for a moment before, "Not what you are supposed to be doing." That irritated me because I felt like she was not treating me like a person. So I replied, "What should I be doing?" "Cleaning," she says. She is right, but I've been scraping, wiping, and degreasing every surface for 5 to 6 hours now. I've run out of things to wipe down a second time. "What can I clean for you?" I ask. Jane just walks off to God knows where, and I go about sweeping a clean floor. Later on, she calls me over to her line to watch where the boxes came out of the packer. The boxes are getting jammed up sometimes, and she wants me to unjam them when it happens. That is fine, and I keep my eye on it like a hawk. If a box is moved like it could get stuck, I jump in and push on it. I do this for 10 minutes and have to unjam around a dozen boxes. Out of the blue, Jane has found something for me to clean, as though she didn't just give me a job that is production critical. The whole thing will stop if a jam stays too long. She found this yellow metal guard fence that is covered in weeks worth of dust. The thing hadn't been cleaned in a while, and truthfully, it didn't need cleaned ever. It's in the corner away from everything. I point to the packer and say something to the effort of, "What about this job?" Her reply is that I haven't done anything there anyway, and that I should be useful by grabbing a rag and wiping the yellow fence down. No protest from me. One fence cleaning coming up. Before I could even walk past her to get to the fence, the line goes down. She gets frustrated and looks to see the boxes jammed. Turns to me and asks, "How many boxes did you unjam? It was working fine while you were sitting there." I was so glad she asked. I don't know, 10 or 12 boxes? You should really have someone sit and unjam them as they come out of the packer. Surely if 10 to 12 boxes per 10 minutes were being jammed, that's something you should look into. Like, you shouldn't have someone checking it every time it gets jammed. You should probably fix the machine so it doesn't jam. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like. And if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.